For a closer look at what to expect, we're now joined once again by Rafe Heydel-Mankoo, a royal commentator in London. Rafe, nice to have you once again. Thanks for being with us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
We now have more details of this Canadian tour. I'm wondering, what do the destinations say about the themes and the messages that the Prince of Wales wants to highlight with this tour?
Well, the Prince of Wales has actually long believed that we need to learn from indigenous people, be they in Canada or the Maori in New Zealand, as we've seen also recently with Prince Harry, about understanding how to live with the planet and care for the planet. There's a lot that we can do. He's always believed in learning from indigenous people. So that's a very strong emphasis for this tour, is on that special relationship. The Crown has a very ancient relationship with the indigenous peoples, and it remains very strong. As well as that, there'll be a lot of focus more broadly in terms of looking at how businesses can find sort of more sustainable ways to live with climate change and become, looking at things like sustainable financing for business in the long term. And then on the Duchess's part, one of her great passions has been literacy. And so during this visit, there'll be also a lot of time for her to go to schools and encourage literacy programs and understand what's being done in Canada to promote literacy, and also in the Northwest Territories, go and see what's being done to promote the spread of indigenous languages amongst the Inuit and others, to ensure that those languages are sustained and can be carried on into the future.
I do want to talk a bit more about Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, in a moment, but we have to remark that this is the Prince of Wales' 18th visit to Canada since embarking on his first in 1970. Given this is the Queen's Jubilee year, what does that tell us about the importance of Canada to the Commonwealth and to both Charles and the Queen, that both have actually been to Canada as often as they have?
That's right. Well, this will actually be the 19th visit of His Royal Highness to Canada. And Canada is the Commonwealth realm that Prince Charles and the Queen, and before her, the Queen Mother, have visited more than any other country. And we know full well that the Queen Mother regarded Canada as her favourite realm, and I'm pretty sure that there's a similar feeling. Although Her Majesty and Prince Charles would never choose favourites, I think that strong bond that they've had with Canada speaks volumes. And it's important, I think, for the Prince of Wales to be seen in Canada and to renew that link. Canada's has known nothing but monarchy for all of its existence, and it's important to remind Canadians of the important role that the Crown plays, not only, of course, through the Queen and the Prince Charles and the Governor-General, but there are 11 crowns in Canada, because you also have the 10 provincial governments, all of whom are crowns within their province. And the Prince of Wales, of course, goes to these provincial legislatures and provincial government houses to also show the important work that's done on the provincial level for the monarchy.
You say that, but of course, recently there was Prince William and Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge. They embarked on a Caribbean tour where colonial history was raised, as were questions about the future of the monarchy in Commonwealth countries, including Canada. How prepared is Charles to answer questions like that?
Well, the monarchy have always said that the future of the monarchy in all of the Commonwealth realms is a matter for the citizens of those countries, and the monarchy has never interfered with those countries that chose to go down a Republican path, for example. They've had a lot of history with this. Since the end of the Second World War, of course, the monarchy have been present at all of the ceremonies of handing over. They've never in any way tried to obstruct that, or they've always been very welcoming of that. And it shows from the fact that a majority of the nations of the Commonwealth are republics, but choose to remain within that free association of nations, which we call the Commonwealth, that those bonds remain very strong even after some of those countries became republics. But of course, there's no great appetite for that in Canada. We haven't seen any great moves along those lines. And of course, really, practically, it's almost impossible to remove the monarchy in Canada, because you need to have unanimity across all of the provinces under the Constitution. And so Prince Edward Island or British Columbia, where monarchy is very strong, or Nova Scotia, they alone could ensure the monarchy's survival, even if it's easier actually to remove the monarchy in the UK than it is in Canada.
Now, you spoke earlier about the Duchess of Cornwall, and of course Camilla will be back to Canada on this tour. This is not her first time here. And while she is acknowledged to be quite the great friend and support for Charles, she is still a controversial figure for many Canadians. So I'm wondering, beyond the causes that she wants to highlight while here, what is Buckingham Palace hoping to achieve for Camilla on this visit?
Well, the important thing is exposure. People have to get to know the Duchess of Cornwall. In this country, we no longer have the controversies which still unfortunately persist in America and Canada whenever there's a royal visit by the Prince and the Prince and the Duchess. And people here have got to know her. They realize what a wonderful support she's been for the Prince of Wales, how tirelessly she's been dedicating herself to her duties, and what a remarkably down-to-earth lady she is. There are no airs and graces. She's very much one of the people with a great sense of humor, really rolls her sleeves up and gets, deep into, any sort of community initiatives that she can get involved with. And the problem is, people don't see enough of that in North America. And so every time there's a royal visit to America or Canada, it's very frustrating for the royal family because 25 years after Diana's death, comparisons are always drawn up. And I'm sure you're going to see in the coming days, again, Diana being raised. And there really has to be a time, a quarter of a century later, to move on and actually move away from the stereotype of the Duchess of Cornwall and look at the real woman who's there. And if they do, I think they'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, as we say, the tour is coming up in the week ahead, so we'll have full coverage right here on CBC News Network. But to set us up, Rafe, always good to speak with you. Thank you for that.
Thanks so much, Michael.
And that's Rafe Heydel-Mankoo.